Report. Hanging at the Fish Report. Hanging at the Fish Report. Hanging at the Fish Report. For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the Fish Report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull. When you tune in to the Fish Report. Hanging at the Fish Report.
Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to another Fish Report Live. It is May 8th, 2020. I'm Craig Fissinger, and however you may be listening to us, whether that's on the Fish Report website, YouTube, or Twitter, thanks for joining us. No cameras. This is audio only, and today on FRL, we're going to wrap up the week in news. I know some of you may read the Fish Report website every day. I love it when folks tell me, Craig, your website is the first 2 to 3 minutes of my morning. I realize the content can be kind of thin some days, but if we can get you going with 2 to 3 minutes worth of news, hopefully good news, that works for me. And some of you may only read the Fish Report website every once in a while, or perhaps never. That's okay too. But today I'm going to highlight the week in news from stories you may have read on Fish Report. But I'm also going to give you more than that, what you get on the website, and that's my opinion on some of those stories. Now, my opinion isn't something I typically share on Fish Report on the website. I usually just provide the links to the stories and let you form your own opinion. So this is going to be a little different for me, but I am looking forward to the fun. So let's get started with Monday. And, you know, one of the very few sports folks are actually permitted to participate in right now with all these coronavirus restrictions is golf. And what a Sunday it was for Rushie's own Doug Borchers. Doug played a round of golf at Piqua Country Club with some friends and got his second career hole-in-one. He did it on hole number 9, and if you've never played the Piqua Country Club before, hole number 9 is this par 3 where the tee box is kind of looking at the side of the clubhouse, and the green's up this really large hill. And if you're lucky enough to put the ball on the green, most of the time it's hard to see where it even lands because that's how high the hill is. Well, the black tee's there. They're like 160 yards away. And Doug said the pin was in the back of the green, which in that case, it makes it really impossible to see your ball if it's anywhere close to the hole. And Doug used this 6-iron, and he didn't even know he got the hole-in-one until he finally walked up on the green. So he was ecstatic, of course, and congratulations to him for that. But you know, I had someone argue with me this week, and they said, Craig, you don't necessarily have to be a good golfer to get a hole-in-one. True. I mean, I'm not a good golfer. And could I get a hole-in-one? Yeah. It does require skill, yes. You have to be able to accurately hit the ball onto the green. But there are plenty of golfers out there who have gotten, or average golfers who have got holes-in-one. But if you compare that, let's say, to bowling, for example, could anyone bowl a 300 game? No way. Not anyone could. Compare it to baseball. Can anyone throw a no-hitter? No, not hardly. I guess if I had to compare a hole-in-one to some other kind of sports accomplishment, I would say probably like a half-court shot in basketball. It's not something you see very often, but anyone on the team could make a half-quarter on their lucky day. They could. Now, I will tell you this. It was more than just Doug's lucky day. He's a very good golfer, too. That hole-in-one on number 9, it gave him a score of 1/37 on the front 9 holes, and then he finished the round beating all his buddies with a final score of 1/73. So, I guess maybe a more appropriate question might be, can anyone shoot a 73? It's probably the same number of folks that can roll 300 in bowling and then go out the next day and throw a no-hitter. Yeah, can anyone get a hole-in-one? Sure. But can anyone golf a 73? I don't think so. So great day on the links there, Doug. Press Pros Magazine published an interesting article on Monday regarding high school baseball. And of course, there is no high school baseball being played this year due to the OHSAA canceling the spring sports season. But according to an anonymous high school baseball coach that Press Pros interviewed for the article, even if there was a season going on right now, the coach claims he doesn't think he would have even played half the games on the schedule due to the weather being wet and cold this spring. Come on. I mean, this just actually reinforces a point that Press Pros editor Sonny Folks has been hammering on for years now, and that's moving the season to be played in warmer weather. Well, this anonymous coach had some pretty strong opinions. At one point in the article, he stated, quote, "We say we're in it for the kids, but that's a lie. We do what's convenient for administrators and school schedules. This coach also stated it's possible to move the high school baseball season to summer, but that won't happen because, quote, it would require a change in thinking, it would require a change in attitudes, and right now there's no chance of that happening because people don't care about kids playing baseball. Listen, I understand the frustration coming from this coach and many other coaches like him. In the Press Pros article, there were similar thoughts from Covington coach Andy Johnson, Minster coach Mike Wiss, who I respect a lot, but I don't think it's as simple as just moving the sport to summer, though. This anonymous coach said that in order to do that, to move baseball to summer, attitudes would have to change about football and basketball, and that won't happen because, quote, that's where the money is. If you want to move baseball to summer, I think attitudes would have to change with families more than the OHSAA or school administrators. I mean, how many families want to postpone their typical June vacations or maybe their July vacations if you're including July as part of this season of high school baseball? Now, let me be clear. I love baseball. I love it. I do. But I also love my family, and I got 3 kids that have gone through high school sports. High school sports get my kids from the beginning of August until really the beginning of June if we're lucky. There's about 6 weeks we get to do summer in. And, would the high school baseball coach like it if we asked, hey, coach, mind if we skip like 3, 4, 5 games and go on a vacation? Now, first of all, I know we wouldn't do that because it wouldn't be fair to the team. But I know there are others that would do that, and it would just be chaos. It just would. In my opinion, summer baseball, it's for Acme, it's for Legion, it's for whatever travel league you play on. It shouldn't be for high school baseball. It just shouldn't. And like I said, I absolutely love baseball. But I would rather spend my summer weekends probably watching baseball with my son down at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati than wrapping up the high school baseball season in July and then a few weeks later starting the high school golf season in August. Come on. Couple more baseball notes from Monday. State Line Sports Network published an article about Coldwater coach Brian Hardemer, I like to call him Harley, being just 10 wins from career victory number 500. Wow, he's about my age and he's already racked up 500 wins. Actually, the title of the story was COVID-19 puts Hardemer's quest for 500 wins on hold. I found that headline somewhat amusing because folks might interpret that as Hardemer chasing maybe a personal milestone. And listen, I know Coach Hardemer fairly well, and I think the last thing he's likely concerned with is his own personal achievements. Matter of fact, I know that. He'd probably spin that headline as all the great teams he's had at Coldwater over the last 22 years. But if you are interested in some Cavalier team stats from Hardemer's regime over there, check these out. How about this? 12 MAC championships, 8 district championships, 7 regional championships, 2 state runner-ups, and 2 state titles both in 2014 and 2019. So pretty impressive, and that's even in Division III. And one more baseball story from Monday, and that's the pride of Versailles, Craig Stammen. He apparently purchased a home out in Coronado, California. Been out there before. Beautiful place. That is close to the Padres ballpark in San Diego. And according to the Los Angeles Times, Craig bought the home for $3.7 million, down from the original asking price of $3.95 million. Great job working that discount out, Craig. And I'm sure that caught the attention of plenty of us Midwesterners back here in Ohio. However, if you know anything about real estate in one of the most beautiful parts of the United States, I'm sure there are any number of homes around here. Matter of fact, I know that. This part of Ohio that would easily go for north of $3 million out there. It doesn't take much. I'm also guessing Craig can easily get his money back when his 2-year, $9 million guaranteed contract is up in 2021. And hopefully after that, maybe he finishes out his career down Interstate 75 here in Cincinnati. We'll see about that. Well, anyway, listen, let's take a quick 30-second break, but stay right there because we've got plenty more to talk about from the weekend news. And when I come back, I'll tell you why this could be the biggest year yet for Fort Laramie professional baseball player Jared Hoying. You're listening to Fish Report Live.
Hey sports fans, this is Drew Cloud with Allstate Insurance. My team and I take a lot of pride in educating people on proper coverage and limits when it comes to your specific needs and how not having enough can leave you and your family on the losing side. Give us a call today at 937-506-4040, and we'd be happy to see what we can do for you. It's more than coverage. It's cloud coverage, where you're in good hands.
Hanging at the Fish Report.
And you're listening to Fish Report Live, and we're recapping the weekend news. Tuesday's headline was a neat story about two Ruschi brothers that are hiking around Ohio. Alan Monin and his brother Neil Monin decided that beginning back in January of 2019, they were on a mission to take a series of hikes and conquer all 1,440 miles of Ohio's Buckeye Trail. Now, if you can imagine kind of a big circle in Ohio that follows the Miami-Erie Canal, the Wabash-Erie Canal, along with all the forest in southern Ohio. Well, in the last 16 months, let's call it, they've hiked 420 miles of the Buckeye Trail. And the majority of that's been between Cincinnati and Toledo. I say kudos to these two guys who must have had a vision about social distancing back before the rest of us. Now, I've never been a hiker. I've always been a runner. And I guess, I don't know, I'm kind of afraid of hiking. You know, when I'm running around the roads in Ruschi here or the area, I always know how to get home. I don't understand how you know where you're going when you're hiking in a strange forest down in southern Ohio. Or better yet, how do you know you aren't going to get attacked by a bobcat or a bear or something? Well, I believe Alan served our country in the National Guard, and I imagine if anybody can handle it, he and his brother Neil can. So keep hiking, guys. Tuesday was also the season opener for Fort Laramie product Jared Hoyne in South Korea's KBO Baseball League. I'm glad somebody's playing baseball. You might remember the now 30-year-old Hoyne was once a major leaguer for the Texas Rangers, and I've got it here. He appeared in 74 games in 2016, 2017. Many of those I watched before he was dealt to the Los Angeles Angels in a minor league deal. And instead of playing with the Angels, Jared chose the KBO path instead, and he now begins his third season with the Hanawa Eagles. This year, Jared reportedly has a one-year contract that includes a $300,000 signing bonus, $550,000 in guaranteed salary, and a $300,000 option, which is probably a whole heck of a lot more than he was going to make in a minor league contract with the Angels, with just the hope of getting back up there to the big leagues. But anyway, last year, Jared batted .284 for the Eagles with 18 homers and 73 RBI. And you might remember he had a season-ending ankle injury in September. Those numbers from last year, they were down a little bit actually from 2018 when he batted .306 with 30 homers and 110 RBIs. He was on fire that year. I remember they were going Hoyne crazy. It was Hoyne hysteria over there in South Korea. But I think this year is going to be a big season for Jared. This is his 11th year as a professional. Hard to believe that. But he seems to love the atmosphere in the ballpark over there. No chip on this guy's shoulder. Jared was quoted as saying it's like a soccer crowd shoved into a baseball stadium. The fans are standing the whole time and singing. In the opener on Tuesday, Jared went 1 for 4 at the plate. He was in the number 3 spot that day for the Eagles, and they won 3-0. And then I saw on Thursday he went 1 for 4, had a couple RBI, I think his first stolen base. I didn't see what they did here this morning. They're quite a bit ahead of us as far as hours go, but I didn't see what the Eagles did here this morning. But anyway, on top of all that, you might have heard ESPN signed a contract with KBO to broadcast their games this season in the absence of Major League Baseball, which sounds like that might be coming back in July. But anyway, look for Jared on TV sometime soon. And on Wednesday, Fish Report's top story was another one of those dynamite write-ups from Press Pro's editor, Sonny Folks. Sonny did an interview recently with Fort Laramie football coach Spencer Wells, and he did the interview 2020 style on the telephone. A lot of the article focused on Fort Laramie's football schedule after this fall when they're booted from the cross-county conference and they become independent. You might also remember a while back, 3 other schools were booted from the CCC, and that's Covington, Miami East, and Bethel. All those 4 schools got kind of a raw deal in that, in my opinion. But they announced they are forming a new conference, Covington, Miami East, and Bethel. It's actually under an old name, the Three Rivers Conference. But joining them in that Three Rivers Conference will be Lehman, Riverside, Troy Christian, Milton Union, and Northridge. And apparently, I wasn't quite aware of all this, but apparently they invited Fort Laramie with one big condition. Fort Laramie had to join in all sports, not just football. Of course, that would have meant leaving the Shelby County Athletic League. In the end, Fort Laramie declined. Thus, that's why they're going to be independent. So first, let me say thank you, Redskins Nation, for declining. Now, Fort Laramie leaving the SCAL would have been detrimental to my favorite league. And as a Russia fan, do I enjoy getting beat by Fort Laramie in other sports? No. But do I like beating them every once in a while? Yeah, even more. I think the Three Rivers Conference missed their opportunity letting Fort Laramie slip away. The Redskins joining them, that would have given them 9 football schools in their conference, and that's better than 8. And a quality team like Fort Laramie is definitely better than settling for maybe a future punching bag or a bottom-dwelling team if that's what the TRC could end up with. But they could have made it work with Fort Laramie being a football-only member. There's no doubt about it in my mind. You know, the Midwest Athletic Conference has done it for years with Anna, which is also another interesting point in the Press Pros article. Coach Wells said, was quoted in there saying he thought the opportunity for a league affiliation would come up sooner than later. And, of course, that gave Sonny the opportunity to ask him if that opportunity might be with the MAC. Coach Wells' response was, quote, "It's above my pay level." I can certainly understand that reply, and that's definitely the politically correct answer in my opinion. But let me just say, if the MAC does come knocking on Fort Laramie's door, I just hope it's in football or a football-only deal like Anna has. And if they do ask him to join in all sports, I hope the Redskins give them the same answer as they did with the Three Rivers Conference. All right, well, let's take one more quick 30-second break before we wrap up our week in news. And when I come back, we'll find out, did the OHSAA have a meeting with the Baseball Coaches Association and not approach the Softball Coaches Association about a similar meeting? All that and more coming up. You're listening to Fish Report Live.
Hey everyone, it's Craig here at Fish Report, and Cruisers Bar and Grill in Russia offers a great variety of fresh food from their menu, from their delicious lug nuts to their homemade pork tenderloins. Stop in before or after the game with family and friends. Large screen TVs give you a great reason to watch sports while enjoying your favorite beverage. Stop in and enjoy the fun and atmosphere of Cruisers Bar and Grill in Russia and tell them Fish Report sent you.
Hanging at the Fish Report.
And welcome back to Fish Report Live as we wrap up our week in news. So on Thursday, our Fish Report headline was news that last Saturday there was an executive board meeting at the OHSAA, and the Ohio High School Fast Pitch Softball Coaches Association had a long list of questions that they wanted answers to. And according to the meeting minutes, which are available online, the first question was, listen to this: we as an executive board were told numerous times last Saturday, that is the Saturday before, by a member of our executive board that you met with the Ohio High School Baseball Coaches Association Executive Board. Can you clear this up for us and let us know if this was true and why we weren't approached to do the same if that occurred with the OHSBCA, that's the Baseball Coaches Association, and their executive board? So the softball people are saying, hey, the OHSAA met with the baseball people. We were told that. Clear this up for us. Well, here's the answer. No, there has been no meeting with the OHSBCA executive board and Jerry Snodgrass. That's it. End of answer. End of question. I'm glad that was cleared up, but it left me to wonder why the Softball Coaches Association was told that by a member of their executive board. I'm sure I'll likely never get the answer to my question, but I can only assume the Softball Coaches Association goes back to that member of their executive board and ask that person, why'd you say that? I don't know if there was any further explanation at the meeting last Saturday, but I know one thing, it sure wasn't included in the meeting minutes, and I'm sure there were more folks than just me wondering, must have just been a big old misunderstanding. Anyway, there were lots of great questions and lots of great answers about softball, and I really could talk for about an hour about everything that was talked about, but you can still read those meeting minutes. All you have to do is go to Fish Reports page 2. There's a link under Thursday's news headlines, and if you like softball like I do, it really is a great read. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for us here this week at Fish Report Live. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts and opinions on the week in news. You can look forward to another audio report coming up next Friday. Until then, check out the website every weekday at www.fishreportonline.com. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great weekend, everyone.
Hanging at the Fish Report. 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 For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the Fish Report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull when you tune in to the Fish Report. Hanging at the Fish Report. Hanging